Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Rainer and today I'm going to release the Masterwork sheet version 3.2 beta. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you'd like to see more informational videos about Neverwinter, hit the subscribe button. So, as I said, we're going to release the new Masterwork sheet, and I have made some pretty big changes in there, which I'm quite excited for. If you've watched my streams on Twitch, which I highly suggest you to follow me on Twitch, because I do some sneak previews of the Masterwork sheet there, as well as answering live questions, of course. I have added quite a bit, but I'm not done yet. So let's jump to the sheet, because that's what we're here for, right? So this is the sheet, readme, mostly the same. Once again, we're going through the changelog. So the first one is the big one. I've added full language support. Language can now be chosen in the config tab, and yeah, this will blow people's socks off, but you really can change the language here now. You have some to pick, and I added a new, which you can enter yourself even. By the way, if you do, please share, because I would like to add it as an official language in here, and if I add stuff to the Masterwork sheet, I can translate the last bits myself. Anyway, as you can see, it's now set to English. If I set it to French, for example, you can see it has to think for a little bit, and then all of a sudden everything is in French. I also added German. German is not completely in there yet. I have translated it myself. The French version I got from Persemer, I think, if I pronounce it correctly. He made on Google Docs a French version of the file, and I mostly copied stuff from there, but of course in a new style. So if I set it to French, you can also see resources. These all need still to be translated. Here you have French, of course, so these are not translated that much, but here you can see all kinds of stuff in French now. The professions are in French. Here this character bound is in French. As I said, not everything is translated yet, but here these tools are in French, and the professions again. Proficiency and focus are also, and yeah, here also a lot is now in the correct language. This is also all copied. So in French we have a lot already, of course, because we got some work done for us. German is not that far. Here you can see one big problem with this way of working with the language that I chose for. Color coding is a little bit broken at the moment, which is a shame, because that's one thing that I really liked. It's broken here, but also in the recipes. But for the recipes, I have found a way to fix that. Probably in this one, I can fix it the same way, actually. So I will also fix it here at some point. Commissions also translated nicely. Here, the items are not translated yet, and the recipes. Here you can see a little bit where I've worked already, where the resources are now color-coded, and this is also all color-coded. So we've seen a lot already, but we're going through these step by step. So I added the French language import from Persemer's file, but still a lot of work to do there. I also added the German language myself. So as I said, not everything is translated, but some things are. Let me see what's the best example. So here you have a couple of things in German. It's really different, but yeah, that actually triggered me that the old file is actually not usable for people who play the game in a different language. it's not usable. So with this language support, it actually becomes usable for a much bigger audience, which is really what I'm trying to target. So the German language, I will work on that still. Then the auction house fee configuration is now taken into account. So let's set it back to English. Has to think a little bit. So the auction house sales fee is now taken into account. So if you sell stuff on the auction house, of course the auction house will remove 10% of your value. So if we look here at the recipes right now, we produce 67,190 in this one, and if we remove the auction house fee, we will of course have more. So it's not 67,000 anymore, but 10% more, which is very close. So this should be correct. This is 74,656. So this is now correctly taken into account. You can set it to no if you're intending to trade with other players, because then you don't have the auction house fee, but most players will sell it. And then this is of course important to see what the margins are. Then explore chart fixed. I got a tip, I forgot the name, I'm sorry man, but I got a tip from someone, I think it was in the comments of the video, that let me see, Bryn Chandler and Lonelywood. I had 1500 here. Because of that, these were very good to make because they were cheap, but they're actually 3,000 each. That was my mistake. Can happen. There's a lot of info in here. I can have stuff wrong, of course. Let's go back here. Then morale cost now functional. It's based on VIP level. So morale gets a discount if you have higher VIP levels. Morale cost at VIP 12 is 90.80 per morale. As we know, one recipe in Masterwork is 40 morale, so each recipe would cost 90 times 40 is 3,600 AD. If you have a lower VIP level, morale cost goes up. Actually, in the last 5, it goes down by 5% each. So you can see it goes down and down and down. So that's also in here. And if you put this to yes, actually the AD used is increased by the cost of 40 morale. So right now that's 28,760. As we just saw, morale cost for a recipe is about 3,600 AD. So if I turn morale cost off, this would be 25,160. 25,160. Yep, so exactly as expected, it's now 25,160. You can set this to yes if you're intending to craft stuff after your morale has depleted, so you're intending to make parties, then you will have this added to your cost of your recipes. If you're only intending to use the morale that you get each day, so your 400 free morale, you are free to leave this to no. I actually never held a I did hold a party every once in a while. So you can set this to whatever you need, and at least it's taken into account. Then removed all items before level 60 for rank 4 workshop upgrades. So this is a big one. People have been asking. So why can I do this and this for rank 4? What's the best option for rank 4? Actually, what after a while I figured out is that you cannot donate anything for rank 4 upgrade if it's below level 60. So everything below level 60, so these here for example, cannot be donated for rank 4, so these are empty. Same for the retainer exchange. If it's below 60, you cannot exchange it. So there are still 2 options to buy your rank 4 at the retainer. It will cost you 2 million retainer credits, which is a lot. It's actually really a lot. So here it would have been, here it would have been a little bit less than 1 million. Anyway, you can still buy it if you want it real quick. Otherwise you have to craft it, and I also removed the mistake here, which I already removed in version 3.1.1. I took the number produced into account double, which made the alchemy jobs really good. I corrected this mistake. Actually, the alchemy jobs are not that great. I hope it's correct now, but yeah, as I said, there's a lot of information here. I do make mistakes. I'm human, so I'm sorry if I put you guys on the wrong foot at some point, but that's my disclaimer. I do make mistakes every now and then, but it should be correct now. So what I didn't add here in the README yet, but gold price, oh no, it's not used yet. So here I added a place to add your gold value. So gold, you can typically see it in the gold bar price. So that's the way to sell gold for AD. And you can fill in the cost of gold here. And then what my intention is to add this also to the AD used. Yeah. What does work? Did it work previously? I'm not sure. I think I added that as well. So for the Explorer charts, why is the price so low? Let me check. Yeah, it does work. But for some reason these values are really low. No, it is correct. Yeah, so here. What I did add, and I think it's not in the README, or did I add it before? Let me check, double check. I don't see that option. So that is new. I didn't add it to the changelog, but the treasure hunter boon and double professions items, of course, increase the value of your explorer charts. So you can see here what the AD value of a chart is, the total value. So that's everything added up that you can get. And if you turn these off, so right now we're at, like let's say OMU 54,650 AD for a chart. If you turn this off, it will go to half that value. Relatively to each other, it doesn't make a difference, but if you want to know the absolute AD per guild mark value of charts, so how much AD are you getting per guild mark invested, you can see it here. These are commas, but it's not 9,000, it's 9, but that's a simple calculation as well. So if I turn this back on, because people will be farming this soon, this is actually 18.2 AD per guild mark. In some countries the comma is the point and vice versa, so that's interesting because here it is, oh no, this is 9,000. So here it's 9,476 and this is 6.311. The next things, and this might be a bummer for some people, but I disabled the search temporarily. As I said in the unlocking recipes, I have some problems with the color coding. I am fixing that here in the recipes part, but this requires me to make some merged cells. And well, let me say that merged cells and Visual Basic are not best buddies. So it's really difficult to get that working. Maybe at some point I will fix the search again. And the last point is actually relates to that. I can combine the recipes in one tab, as you can see here as well. So we have less tabs now, which is maybe also better. But I did that so that you can still search in the recipes. What I mean is you can just do Ctrl F and you will search everything in this sheet. So you don't need separate searches anymore for name, for consumed, for produced. What else do we have? All is in here anyway, so you also don't need that. An additional benefit is that your margin and net profit are now color coded for the whole sheet, so you can see the best item and across all of the recipes. One thing I do need to figure out is how to use with the filters here, because if I select only alchemy, these things are messed up. So for the first 4, the filter doesn't work great, but I'm working on that. So I think that was it. Yeah. So I'm going to make this sheet available again on Patreon, on my Patreon. The link is in the description. You can download it there for free, no cost involved. I will probably also make a Google Docs version available before the video is uploaded. So you can also check out the file there if you don't have Excel. I am thinking about also making an OpenOffice version available at some point, so people who don't have Excel also can use it. So maybe we lose the need for an OpenOffice for the Google Docs version, which causes a little bit of confusion sometimes, I think, because people are trying to edit that and it doesn't really work. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this version. If you want to, oh yeah, this is one more thing. So we have the language tab here, and these you cannot edit. These are the languages that are in here now, but if you want to add a new language, you can just add it here. So if I want to make a Klingon, yeah, good version, and you want to fill in something here, then this is changed to this if you select Klingon in here. Of course, this is a bad example, but yeah. If you want to work on an existing language like French, for example, because it's not done, everything that's a little bit gray in here is not done. So if you want to help me with that and you want to send me the complete French version, that's also perfect. Just copy French in here. You can just copy and paste it from there to there, and then copy everything, of course, the whole column, and then you can change this and then send it to me once again, and I will copy it in the original file and then make it available for everyone. So that's now I'm really done. So I'm done a couple of times now. If you have any remarks in this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.